Welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing great. This time, we will take a look at the build that I used for Zephyr and the strategy I used in a Steel Path endurance run. It's a playstyle which will give us and our allies high survivability and tons of damage as well. This is centered on Zephyr's fourth ability, which is Tornado, with the augment funnel clouds, and the most effective weapon for this build, which is Strafar. Strafar is a weapon that I rarely use for most of my missions, but there are some builds where this weapon can do wonders. This is a build that has been made even better by the helmet system. So using the helmet system, we are subsuming Ensnare into Zephyr, enabling her to group up enemies very easily. If you haven't guessed what combo it is yet, let's go ahead and take a look. As usual, we used Steel Path Puva Survival for the footage, and as you can see, Zephyr is taking out level 500 Steel Path enemies in a single blow. So what exactly makes this possible and why are they dying so fast even though we are seeing less red crits than my previous builds? To answer that question, let's take a look at our mods for Strafar. It's actually the very same build that I was using for the Death Ward Zaku build.
For our stance, we are using Bullet Dance, but this doesn't really matter on this build as we are using heavy attacks. Sacrificial Steel, Amalgam Organ Shatter, and Gladiator Might for our crits. Killing Blow gives us more damage on heavy attacks. This and Amalgam Organ Shatter also increases our heavy attack wind-up speed. We also have Prime Fever Strike for toxin damage, Corrupt Charge, so we always have that 2x combo multiplier. Condition Overload, and a faction mod for our core damage.
The reason why I'm using Condition Overload instead of Pressure Point is because the tornadoes will keep on inflicting corrosive status to our enemies. So we are basically boosting our damage by stripping some of their armor and taking advantage of Condition Overload's damage bonus per status. One of the most important part of this build is actually knowing when and how will you use Strafar. The key to Strafar's effectivity here is by firing it in a group of enemies that are inside the tornadoes. For those of you who don't know yet, firing at a tornado will distribute 100% of your total damage including crits to all enemies inside the tornado. Now for our companion, which is the Panzer Vulpaphyla. Before, I would have used Jin, but now, with Panzer and what this cat is capable of, I just cannot find a reason to use Jin anymore. It's the same old setup we are using, and it's very common. The most important mods here are really just Panzer Devolution, Viral Quills, Fetch, and Animal Instinct. For all the other mods, feel free to swap them out with other stuff. If you're using a gun with this setup, then synth mods will be helpful for you. The focus school that I used is Zeneric, simply because of the energizing dash. Now for our main attraction, Zephyr Prime. The reason I chose Ensnare to group up enemies instead of Larva is because you can't cast Larva while it is still active. Ensnare, on the other hand, can be spammed to any enemy you can see as long as they are not affected with Ensnare yet. Now for our mods, we've got my personal favorite on the Aura slot, which is Brief Respite. Vigilante Pursuit for additional enemy visibility, Prime Flow and Streamline for energy management, Prime Continuity for more duration, which is very important for turbulence, Natural Talent, which is one of the mods that I really like for builds where I need to cast abilities a lot, Rolling Guard and Handspring for survivability, and for our augments we've got Funnel Clouds of course, so we get that 4 extra tornadoes, and Jetstream, which adds more punch through our Strafar. For our Arcanes, we've got Arcane Energize, and instead of our usual go-to Arcane which is Arcane Strike, I am using Arcane Fury instead. It is important to know that more range actually works against you instead. The more range you have, the bigger the radius of the tornado spawn area. You want to keep this small enough so you can control where it appears and make it spawn right where you are grouping up the enemies. For me, 100% range with 12.5 meter spawn radius was the perfect distance. That's it for our Zephyr build. Feel free to modify parts of the build and use it as a guide to create even better ones. I hope you guys had fun and learned something new. If you liked the video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. I make videos on builds, guides, and explanation to stuff that are not shown inside the game. Now that this is done, I'm gonna work on creating a build for Garuda, Ember, Gara, or Valkyr next, so if you guys have something you want me to work on, please leave a comment down below. That's all for today. I hope you all have a good day and see you all next time. Bye!